This here is Ryan, a 16-year-old competitive tennis player, yet in constant pain with ankylosing spondylitis in 2024, needing anti-inflammatories to play or missing weeks of competition time. Fast forward to 2025, he's now completely off the anti-inflammatories, barely any pain, and he's playing all the tennis he wants and actually playing at the highest level he's played before. How did we do this? So the big focus was on his gut and fixing the gut problems that he had. And we did this through natural supplementation and through diet and through looking at the rest of his lifestyle and everything that goes into the issues he was experiencing with his gut. For Ryan, the main pains were coming into the glutes. So that deep glute pain, very similar to what I had and what a lot of people have with ankylosing spondylitis, it's inflammation into the SIJs that over time causes erosions, which he was starting to experience, but the main issue just being the amount of throbbing pain that's there. So if we look at his starting health markers, all of these scores are from a 0 to 10, with 10 being most severe and 0 being none at all. If we look at the fatigue or tiredness he was experiencing, a 6, and the overall level of AS pain, which is SIJ, neck, back, or hip pain, it was a 10 out of 10. He hadn't really experienced any pain stronger than this pain. It was 0 out of 10 in terms of other pains other than the SIJs, it was a 0. So all of the pain was into this one spot. There wasn't actually any other referral pain or any other inflammation in any other joints. How would you describe the overall level of discomfort from actual touch or pressure? A 6 out of 10. Morning stiffness with the body was a 4 out of 10, and it takes him sometimes up to half an hour for the stiffness to actually wear off. Another interesting thing to note is the stomach pains or digestion problems he was having, scored at a 4 out of 10. And this is very normal. I see this with a lot of people with AS. It always comes with a level of stomach issues, stomach discomfort, even a lot of IBD levels of stomach issues, but even just a small amount of just bloating, stomach pains, don't digest too well, or gassiness. He was also experiencing this. Now, fast forward to very recently. Let's see where those health markers are after doing a good chunk of work. The fatigue and tiredness has come down to a 2 out of 10. And the big one that we obviously need to talk about is he's scoring the AS pain that he was getting into the SIJs at a 0 out of 10. So from a 10 out of 10 to a 0 out of 10 in a few months. Now, obviously this is subjective. Ryan has just filled this out based on how he feels with the pain. But still, for him to feel like he had a 10 out of 10 pain to go to a 0 out of 10 pain, this isn't how it always goes, as in it's that clear cut. But it's obviously something we all need to take note of, as this is completely possible. Pain in other areas, a 1 out of 10, so barely anything else. The tenderness is now a 2 out of 10. The morning stiffness has come down to a 1 and pretty much doesn't last at all from when he wakes up. And if we also look at the stomach issues, it's gone from a 4 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10, so improvement here as well. So how did this look then? What did I actually do with Ryan to help set him on this path to massive improvements? So the first thing I did, and this is the process I follow for all clients with AS or with any sort of autoimmune issue, is we look at bloods first. We get the full blood panel, which are the standard bloods you get from the doctor or the rheumatologist, and we look at these to actually decipher what's going on with the bigger picture and what's specifically going on with the gut. So when you get your bloods done, they'll look at what a normal range is, which is usually based on averages and who are the normal people that get their bloods done. It's usually people who are sick and the elderly. So these ranges are super large, and they aren't very useful, and sometimes it's just completely wrong or will lead you in the wrong direction. What we look at is we look at optimal. We look at optimal and we look at how these blood markers interact and possibly what this then points towards in terms of what's going on under the surface. And what did we find with Ryan? So we found hyperpermeability or intestinal permeability or leaky gut. And we also found SIBO, or saw good indication that there was SIBO present, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, basically bacteria in a place that we don't want there to be at all. And also likely an exposure to a thing called lipopolysaccharides, or an overexposure, which again is indicating that perhaps this is coming from the bacteria in the small intestine that release this thing called LPS, or lipopolysaccharides, that has been shown to cause a hell of a lot of health problems and cause a hell of a lot of inflammation in the body. So what was the protocol, or what were the supplements that were used to tackle these gut issues? So we used the magnesium all the time, a cod liver oil, NAC, curcumin's big. Ryan had elevated bilirubin, which is a good indicator of SIBO. So we also used a form of zinc, which is able to actually bring down this excess bilirubin. We use some specific compounds that are going to target the actual epithelium of the gut lining to help repair it, as well as compounds that have shown to bring down LPS. And we had Ryan on a relatively easy SIBO protocol, obviously because we need to start tackling this problem, but not too intense because it's probably not needed, and also he's got a lot of tennis to play. And the diet, how did we do the diet? Very meat-based, very animal-based. It's relatively high fat, but it's not keto. We're not super high fat and super low carb. We're careful around starch as we bring sugars down, although with Ryan it wasn't completely low sugar or no fruit because of obviously needing to play tennis and not wanting to bring those carbs down or energy levels down completely. So the diet is fully focused around making the changes we needed to the gut to allow the supplementation or the gut protocol to actually have a clean slate or an empty area to work with, and obviously putting in foods that we know are actually going to help tackle or speed up the process of tackling with the SIBO, and also provide the building blocks for the gut lining to repair. So as I say to all my clients when they start, and they kind of like hearing this, diet probably isn't the very top of the list for dealing with these sorts of things, but obviously if you stick to what you've been doing that's got you to the same problem spot you're in, you're going to be spinning your wheel perhaps, or just progressing slow, even though the supplementation protocol and the gut protocol is pretty certainly at the top of the list of priority, and the thing that's needed mostly, or it's going to allow you to have the quickest improvement or make the most amount of inroads into the disease and the pains. Looking at the FODMAPs with Ryan, he was obviously eating the standard stuff of like dates and bananas in between matches. We swapped those fruits for more blueberries, for kiwi fruit that have got less fructose in, still providing him with that sugar hit, but not the same level of fructose that is going to slow down the gut progress. And did he have to be completely 100% strict? No, and I also don't expect this from a 16-year-old. Even though he really did get close to that point, it obviously wasn't completely perfect throughout, and it's hard when you're on the road, and it's hard being 16 to be able to follow this sort of diet. So even without that perfect diet, and even with actually moving towards a maintenance phase after the protocol, where we did settle it a bit more, that he was still very much on track with zero pain and playing well. So he did very well, better than I thought or expected from a 16-year-old with the diet and all the lifestyle stuff, but still didn't have to be completely perfect for him to have the results that he wanted and to, as we saw, get the pain down to zero. The results of this speak for themselves. Obviously, this is a specific case of a 16-year-old sports player, early progression of the disease. I'm another case where much older, much more progression of the disease. I was not as healthy or as active perhaps as Ryan was. So again, take me as another case, check my website for the other testimonials or the other videos I've made where we see the benefits. I've seen it with both male and female. I've seen it up to the age of 60. You can make big progress with this, and it's for sure a route you want to understand, know about, look into. Just know that it's there, and the only option isn't just medication. But Ryan's results speak for themselves. Obviously, we're not done yet. Obviously, we keep working, but it's just great to see how other people, all different ages, all different abilities, can change their life around. And for Ryan, who knows, maybe we'll see him on TV soon playing tennis, and we don't know what other path he might have taken to get there, or could he have got there. Click the link in the description to see the health program that I offer, the transformational health program, which is exactly what Ryan went through to make this sort of progress, and it's exactly what I take all of my clients through, whether they have AS or any other autoimmune disease. This is the route we take: the bloods, the gut protocol, the diet work, and the whole life shift that's going to aim to bring down pain levels, reduce medications and the need for medications, and just get you feeling much better, healthier, and pain-free.